listening to Fountain of Thought with your host, Dennis Fountain. One small step for man, one giant leap for America. Today's special guest star, Sonny Rain.
All right, everyone. Welcome. Thanks for listening. I want to thank everyone that tuned into our first podcast. At least in my opinion, it was a pretty good success. We had several hundred downloads, and several thousand people actually went to our social media sites and checked us out. So thank you to everyone. Any idea topics or show topics that you like, send us away. You can reach us on Facebook at facebook.com/Fountain of Thought. Twitter, tweet us at TalkFOT. Or if you prefer email, you can email us at talkfot@gmail.com. So welcome, Sonny. How are you doing?
Just spectacular.
Just spectacular, yes. But you're not very fond of your intro, I hear. Is that the rumor I'm hearing?
Yeah, I mean, this guy who does the
Yeah.
intros, he just keeps screwing up the end of
Really?
my Sunny Rain.
It's not.
I want that triple, the triple echo that you have.
Rain.
Yeah.
Okay, how's this? Listen.
Today's special guest star, Sonny Rain.
No, you don't like that one?
You got to get that delay in there.
Today's special guest star, Sonny Rain.
No, yeah, they've been like that. Well, that's the best one.
Today's special guest star, Sonny Rain.
But I love listening to it, though.
You talk about me.
So how many hits do we get?
We had several thousand people actually between Facebook and Twitter who actually went and visited us, tweeted us, followed us. We have several hundred downloads of the episode.
So I should be getting my private dressing room sooner than I expected.
Well,
You did promise me that.
I yes. Have you ever heard Sandy Can? Do you know that? Yeah. So, coming into the office today, I was listening to a local radio station, and here in Western Mass, we have a town called Munson, and the local broadcaster on the local radio station was calling it Monson, because apparently Monson Developmental Center is gone. They've been gone for a long time, and the state is going to sell the property finally. And he was pronouncing Monson. And that just really irked me till no end. I don't understand. Listen, if you're new to the area, I understand it because it takes a while for you to get adjusted. I mean, this is Massachusetts, and especially Western Mass has all of these quirks that other people don't have. But
It stretches. You have a difference from Boston all the way out to Adams.
Yeah. But
especially when you get to the Worcester line and you have people who lean kind of both ways.
Worcester.
Yeah,
You mean Worcester?
Yeah, Worcester.
Worcester? Yeah. Or Leicester?
Yeah, or people who are originally from Amherst.
That one drives me nuts. They go to Amherst College. No, you don't. You go to Amherst College. Yes. Other things while I was driving, I went to Six Flags in New Jersey yesterday. They have a special holiday in the park, and although some people will think I'm crazy for going on roller coaster rides when it's 40 degrees out,
People think you crazy? No,
I know what's the thing.
Never.
But it was actually a very fun event. There were very few people there, believe it or not. Shocker. So we'd go on one ride, and then we just hop back on. We didn't even have to wait in line. We just get back on. So it was really cool. Lots of lights, kind of like a festival of lights thing was going on. It was very nice. All the Warner Brother characters were there, and they came out, and I had my picture taken with them because I'm a big, cartoon guy. So.
You're a cartoon, all right.
I'm a cartoon, big cartoon guy. So going there and coming back, there was lots of travel involved, and I could not believe. Listen, I know they say drivers suck in this state and that state, and everyone says that every state has a particular penchant for bad drivers, but they're everywhere. It doesn't matter what state you're in; they're everywhere. And I've come to the conclusion that they just don't care. They were straddling the line and not staying in their marked lane. They don't care what lane they're in. And I had more car horn honks than I've ever heard before, and I wasn't doing anything. I mean, they just love to lay on the horn. And it's just very annoying.
I read somewhere a few weeks back, it's funny you bring that up, They were listing the worst drivers of Massachusetts by city or town, and in the top 5 was Boston, Springfield, and Worcester. Oh,
Worcester.
No, I'm sorry. This was for the country, not just Massachusetts. It was for the country. And
So,
our
wait a
state
minute.
got 3 cities in the top 5.
No, they need to start driving in Newark and New Jersey and New York and
Well, I
the
think
Bronx.
I think those were the people who were taking the survey,
Yes.
probably.
I was because it was, and then no blinkers. They don't care. They just come in and out of traffic. Doesn't matter. I mean, we almost died several times. It's terrible, terrible, terrible.
Well, here's a pet peeve I have.
Yes.
How many people out there realize that you can turn on a right on a red light? You can turn on red after a stop, unless of course, if it's posted.
No turn on red. You cannot turn, but otherwise you can.
If you're at a red light and you're going to go right,
yes,
go.
Yes. Well,
But they don't. They sit there and they wait for the green light.
They're probably old and don't realize that that's a new
no.
law that's been
No.
around for 20-something years.
This goes through every generation.
That was the only question back when I went and took my driver's test. We had a written test. That was the only question I failed, by the way. I failed that question.
I didn't have a written test.
Yeah, I did. I had a written test.
I got my license that 1 year where they decided to do the 3 oral questions.
Yeah.
And you had to go in with the state cop, and he asked the 3 questions, and that was it. But they did away with it the following year.
Yeah. I was confused. The question was worded poorly, in my opinion, of course, because I'm always right. So
They didn't realize you.
I knew what I meant to say. I just couldn't figure out how to say it. What it was.
They didn't realize the narcissist that you were destined to be.
Didn't know who I was. Yeah, exactly. So in going through some of the Facebook posts and information that people have told me about the show, I said I was going to do something about questions, where you could send in your question, and we would be more than happy to tell you what the right answer is. Right. So I've decided to go ahead and go for that. So here it is.
It's time to dig deep. That only means one thing. It's time for questions from my sack.
And I have several questions here. Okay?
From your sack.
From my sack, yes. Yes. I dug deep.
You keep those next to your sweaty balls.
Speaking of which, did you watch the SNL Christmas special that was on? And I watched it, and I have to tell you, everything that was like old, that had the black bars on the left and the right from back when TV was square, was fantastic. All the new stuff was total crap. It was horrible. It wasn't funny. Where's the good old days of SNL? So yeah. Did you watch that special by any chance?
No, I missed it.
It was well, like I said, the old parts were good. New ones weren't bad. All right. First question I received was, and by the way, I pulled these out randomly from my sack.
He said sack.
Are hot dogs a sandwich? I say yes.
I say absolutely yes.
Because what's a sandwich?
Anything you stuff between 2 pieces of bread. I don't care what shape they are. Well, see, now that's where the argument's going to come in.
Yes, because a hamburger.
Yeah, well, no, but then
a sub.
Yeah, but then there's the sub, the hoagie, and the grinder, which are all the same thing.
Yes,
depending upon where you live.
Where you live, yes,
what you call it. But in my opinion, yes. If you shove something between 2 pieces of bread, it's a sandwich.
You agree?
I agree.
So a hot dog is a sandwich.
Yeah, I would classify it as a sandwich.
I agree. A hot dog is a sandwich. All right. Next one is, how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop?
3.
That was my answer. You stole my answer.
That's an oldie but goodie.
Yes.
A 1, a 2, a 3, a 3.
Yes, you stole my answer.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You know, when I would go trick-or-treating, I didn't like those. We got Dum-Dums, but the worst thing we got was, did you ever get those popcorn balls?
Oh, those were gross.
They were horrible. They're like rice cakes.
And you read the date on them, and they'd be like 3 weeks past already.
No. The ones that were handmade. I never ate those.
Well, those are the ones that had the razor blades and the drugs and everything in them.
Never did I touch those. How times have changed.
My parents used to confiscate anything that was homemade, baked, or anything
because they didn't trust anyone.
Well, back then, in the 70s, that was all the scare. Was people putting drugs in it or razor blades?
That's because you live in the slums now.
Yeah. That's a topic for another day. I'm in a good mood right now.
You're in a good mood. Don't mess with it.
Let's keep it that way.
No, but today kids get all these full-size candy bars, and I can't afford that. I have nearly 300 kids come to my house trick-or-treating, tons of them. I can't afford to give a full-size candy bar to each one of those little rats. I mean, nice children. Okay.
Yes, and he is a father of 3.
Yes. Oh, and I was told that I have to mention them, so shout out to my 3 children, Rachel, Amanda, and Holly. They were upset that they didn't get their names mentioned last time. So, next question, I think that this has to do with the holiday season. Do reindeer really know how to fly?
Depends on what drugs they're doing.
Well, I think it depends upon what philosophy you believe, because if you go with like Miracle on 34th Street, they only fly on Christmas Eve. Or you could go with the Santa Claus from Disney theory, and they sprinkle that, little dust on them that they probably got from the 70s, from those extra candy canes that, You are looking me with deadpan eyes that just say...
Because it's really just a stupid question.
Well, they are stupid questions, and that leads me to my last question, which is, do you think you guys are funny?
Well, funny is in the ear of the beholder.
No. Yes, that's the answer.
Is it?
Yes. Yes, we think we're funny. If we didn't think we were funny, we wouldn't be doing this, right?
Well, you have the you're supposed to give the opinions out, so you tell people we're funny.
I did. I said the answer is yes. That is the answer. We are funny, absolutely. No questions asked.
I get up every day and laugh at myself.
See, so do I. I laugh at you all the time.
Yeah, I know you do.
I just laughed at you when you're coming out of the bathroom.
That's nice of you.
All right.
Just what I want to do. Talk about going to take a leak.
Talking about going to take a leak. You should leave one. You should never take one. You should always leave one. And don't eat the mints. All right. By the way, in case you missed it, we didn't mention it, but listener discretion is advised. This show contains adult themes and possibly adult language, so be warned. What I really wanted to talk about today is the ever-changing technology, how technology is changing, and possibly, if you ask me, eliminating more jobs than it's creating. And one of the things that I'll use as an example is, for 20 years, I was a cobbler. I fixed shoes. Nowadays, there's like one cobbler for, every 5 million people, because no one fixes their shoes anymore. It's a throwaway society. You buy them for $5 at Walmart. They wear out. All right, $5 is a bit of an exaggeration, but you know what I'm saying. You buy them at Walmart, you wear them, you toss away, you buy a new pair. So that industry is gone by the wayside. Some will say that it was, industry that did that, because now you got big corporations come in and Walmart comes along and they could make the things cheaper, better, perhaps.
Yeah, but it's also demographics, too. I mean, if you go to a place where there's a lot of money and stuff and people are investing lots of money in their shoes, they will repair them.
Some people still do,
yeah.
But you ask, like last episode when someone didn't know what a DJ was, ask somebody what a cobbler is. They'll have no clue.
It's a dessert.
It's a dessert, yeah.
Stupid.
Yeah. I had a peach cobbler, an apple cobbler, and a cherry cobbler. Yeah. So that industry is kind of, gone by the wayside.
Yeah, but let's just for a moment, I want to bring this up. Just so people get to know you a little bit better.
Oh, yes.
When he owned Westover Shoe Repair in Chicopee, he actually, I kid you not, he had a sign hanging above his counter.
I did.
That said, the customer is always wrong.
Yes, that's true. Listen, when you own your own business, you can exactly say the way it is. And the customer is always wrong. I will say that most of the time the customer is wrong, but you kind of got to please your customer if you want return business, right?
Remember the time you had those alligator skin boots and they sat on your counter, for 15 years? And then a bouncer of mine from the club up the street came and said,
yeah.
Hey, do you mind if I buy those? And you said, yeah, just pay me for the repair on them. Kid you not, folks. The very next day, this guy shows up 15 years later and says, I want to pick up my boots.
It's true. That is true. Yeah.
It was good times back then. Lots of Chinese food. Do
you have a ticket? Ticket.
Do I need it? No, but I want the ticket.
Yeah, no ticket, no shoes. So then in my wonderful career, I switched over to building and repairing computers. And then what happened? Well, now you can go to Walmart and buy a brand new computer for $200. So building and repairing computers is not as lucrative as it should be. So technology changed, came along, made things faster, cheaper, better. And of course, that industry's gone. So I said, okay, well, let's go into the movie industry. And I became a theater manager for about 10 years. And this is what I really want to touch base on today, that I think that industry is doomed. It's not going to happen overnight, mind you, but it's absolutely doomed.
Oh, it's obsolete.
Yeah.
To put up these big structures and pay the heat, the rent, the taxes, the overhead with the technology that's rolling out of the stores now.
Everyone thinks that movie theaters, whether, and I'm not going to pick anyone in particular, but whether they're Showcase or Cinemagic or Cinemark or Hoyle or AMC or any of those, that they're making money hand over fist. They are making money, don't get me wrong. And everyone says, well, I'm going to sneak my food in because I don't want to pay $7 for a bag of popcorn that costs a nickel to make. Well, it didn't cost a nickel to make, and this is where I will defend them. But nobody realizes the actual cost, like you say, of what goes into running a movie theater. And they think that it's all about profit. Well, how do you think that, Tom Cruise gets $75 million for a picture? I mean, it's because you have to make money. And what happens in the movie industry is a movie comes, and first of all, you have to have a buyer, and your film buyer negotiates the deal for the movie. So every movie is different. So what I'm about to tell you isn't necessarily for every single movie that's out there, because it depends upon your film buyer and how they negotiate with the studios. But typically what happens is they'll take a movie, and let's go with, give me a movie.
Any movie?
Any movie.
The Avengers.
All right. I was going to pick that movie, but I didn't want to say it.
We always think alike.
Yeah, I know. All right. So Avengers. Avengers was a fantastic movie that made literally billions of dollars. So when that movie came out, I'm glad you picked that movie because that was one I wanted to talk about. When Avengers came out, and
they're probably just sitting there going, "Oh yeah," like they didn't have it written down right in front
No,
of
I
them.
didn't. I really didn't.
Sure, you didn't.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, right. That's what they're saying.
I know, but I didn't.
That was stupid.
Yes. Disney had an arrangement. Number one, where, and I don't remember the name of the film. It was a crappy Disney film, and the arrangement was that in order to get Avengers, you had to play this movie. It was one we normally wouldn't have shown, but you didn't want to miss out on getting Avengers because that was going to be the big movie.
So that's called cinema extortion.
Yeah, blackmail.
Yeah,
and we had to play that movie. So that was one thing, which, okay, great, fine and dandy, that, maybe you got to do that, maybe you don't. But what happens is they'll say, all right, so for the first 2 weeks of the movie that comes out, you're going to pay us 90% of every box office ticket. So they get 90% of our profits, and we get 10% of the box office. This is strictly the box office now. We also have to pay a distribution rights fee. So we pay a fee for the movie. So not only are we giving the box office, we're giving them a fee. And that fee can range anywhere from $2,000 to $10,000 for a fee to distribute this movie. Plus, we pay for shipping to get that movie. Now, in the old days, they used to come on film, reels of film. And shipping was rather expensive back then. Well, now it's all digital. So we download it off a satellite. But now we rent satellite time. So they charge us for this. So no matter what happens, we have to pay to get this movie to us. And we pay both ways. Coming and going, we have to pay. So now they've got the shipping covered. They don't waste a cent of that. They get a distribution fee, and they get 90% of our take.
So what he's basically trying to say, folks, is that's why your popcorn is $14.50 a bag.
That's exactly it. So you get in the first 2 weeks you charge you 90%, they get, and we get 10%, and you get, say, I don't know, 900 people to come to your theater. So you get a lot of people to come in. So it kind of offsets. And then as the weeks go by that a movie stays, the distributors make less and the theater makes more. So then week 3 might be 80-20, and it keeps going down and down and down. In the case of like Avatar stayed forever, and then by the time Avatar was done, I think we were down to like the distributors got like 5% or something like that, and then the theater got almost all of the money. But you had way fewer people coming to see that movie.
Yeah.
So, I mean, now there are different ways that films can go. This is not the only way, but typically this is the way a film goes. So movie theaters are in trouble to begin with because they're giving away most of their profits to the distributors. And they have to, because they have to pay these exorbitant salaries and not only that, but marketing for movies is so costly these days that the distributors pay. So there's a lot of expense involved in that. And so that's right. That's why you're paying $14 for your popcorn. But you also have to undertake different things. There's insurance, there's electricity, there's heat, there's employees, and payroll is usually, in any business, your first or your second biggest expense. And especially in a state where they keep rising minimum wage, $1 every year, that's a huge, huge expense. So not that I'm defending, everyone in the movie industry, but, when you go and you bitch about, you're paying $10 for your ticket and $14 for your popcorn, this is why.
Yeah, but then also another contributing to the failing fact is that what I've noticed in a lot of movies is they're in the movie theater and they're coming out in DVD while the theaters are still trying to get their money from it.
That's called the release to DVD window.
Yeah.
And what's happening is that's becoming less and less. And Paramount recently did a trial run where they released Paranormal Activity and The Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse. And what they did with that is they gave it to us in the movie theaters, and they said, you guys can play this. Literally 2 weeks later, it was available for DVD at Walmart. Mm-hmm. And we knew this ahead of time. So 90% of the theaters band together and said, you know what, screw you, Paramount, we're not doing it. And they didn't play those movies. That's why you didn't see those movies in movie theaters. They were supposed to be there, but that plan backfired on Paramount because 2 weeks was too short of a window. Who's going to do that? Nobody. So even still, I think it's too short of a window. The typical window now is 60 to 90 days. It can be longer, but typically it's 60 to 90 days. So you have to wait 2 or 3 months before that big blockbuster that was at the movie theater comes home to DVD. So now this is where you get the home DVD market. When they release a DVD, or if it's streaming, and nowadays it's digital downloads, however they get these things, the distributor gets 70 to 80% of that profit.
Wow.
Okay? So again, they're getting their fair share of money. And you think about it, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but they have to, because you have to pay these exorbitant actors, these like football or baseball. You have to pay all these, because now it's no longer reasonable. These jobs aren't reasonable. To be an actor and get the fame and make a good buck, you have to make $50 billion. It's absolutely ridiculous.
But it's something you should understand. It's ego. It's all ego. It's not that they need the money. It's not that it matters. It's just the fact that, oh, wait a minute, Joe Smith got $40 million for that piece of crap.
Yeah.
Well, then I definitely worth $45 million.
Since we're talking about the Avengers movie, do you know how much money Robert Downey Jr. got for that movie?
Quite a bit.
$50 million.
Wow.
That's $50 million he got to do that movie. Do you know how much all of the other stars and every other co-star in that movie who starred in that movie? Do you know how much they got?
What'd they get?
$2 million.
And they went along with that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, $2 million.
Well, obviously they went along with it, but
yeah.
There must have been hard feelings.
Probably, but if you want to do it, that's the thing. That's another reason why when you come to a new movie, they'll sign multiple-year deals with an actor or actress, whether they think that movie's going to do well or not. Like Rogue One. Apparently they signed multi-year contracts with all of the stars in Rogue One. But I don't want to ruin it for anyone that hasn't seen Rogue One, but it doesn't end well for the Rogue One team. And so how they can possibly do a sequel for that, I don't understand. Maybe they do a prequel, which I absolutely hate. Prequels are the worst. That's why episodes 1, 2, and 3 sucked, although there are other reasons. But prequels are awful. You know what's going to happen in the end. Where's the drama? You know what's going to happen. But so nowadays, when they get a movie, and any of these, these big budget movies, they sign the actors for 2 or 3 other pictures. So they know if they got a hit on their hands, they got them locked in cheap, and they can't hold them over the barrel and request these millions of dollars. Robert Downey Jr. was an exception. I mean, he was hemming and hawing for years about whether he was going to do Iron Man 3 or not, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And you're right, it's money, it's ego, money, all that stuff. So back to the analogy of technology changing things. Nowadays, you have streaming, you have digital downloads, you have all of these nice things. You have Blu-ray, all right? You have 4K, Ultra 4K. 4K television is the exact same quality that you get in a movie theater. That's exactly the same, folks. When you're watching something in 4K, that's the same distribution of the film that we get in the theaters. It is 4K technology. They are starting to do a little bit higher on some films. There's also some high frame rate films, which are a little bit different, HFR. But the 4K technology that you can get in your television, you can go down to anywhere like Costco and spend $400 on a TV and get 4K technology, which is the exact same image quality that you get in a movie theater, is mind-boggling. And that's one of the things. So we got pictures are equal. So you go to the movie theaters, you come home, you get the same picture. Is it larger? Yeah, it's larger and it's on the big screen. But nowadays, look at I own a 65-inch TV. I mean, almost everybody has these huge TVs these days. I remember growing up, we had a 25-inch console TV in the living room, and that was huge for the day. And I had a little 13-inch black and white in my bedroom, which was unusual because most people didn't have TVs in their bedrooms. But
we had black and white in the living room until at least I was 13 and 14.
Yeah, and then you had what? You had like 3 or 4 channels, and you had to go up and you had to change the rotor and go.
I remember watching the '75 World Series. I know, boy, that's making me old. And the following year, my father took me to my first Red Sox game, and I walked out in the field, and that's the first time I saw Fenway in color.
That must have been cool, huh?
Well, yeah, it was like the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
It was really cool. But yeah, we didn't have the stuff they got today.
No.
But the other thing is, with technology in our day, is when we got something, it lasted for a period of time until something new came along. Right now, everything is just going light speed.
Yeah.
As soon as you think you got this figured out, boom, here's another piece of technology.
Yeah.
And I'm falling behind on it. I call you all the time and say, how the hell does this work?
What is this? How does this work? I don't understand this. Yeah.
The concept just doesn't.
And it is. And it's changing faster than people can keep up with it.
And a lot of people have given up on it. They just said, hell with it.
Well, because what do you buy? I mean, do you look at, do I buy a Fire Stick? Do I buy Voodoo? Do I buy this? I don't understand what this is. What is that? I don't get this. Because there's just so much out there right now. It's can be confusing and overwhelming to certain people. Especially, I hate to. No, I'm not going to say that. But certain people, though, they don't get the true intent of the product. There's someone I know that has a if you've seen those the Amazon Echo and Alexa and OK Google and all those things. Well, those things can do wonders. But not everyone understands the full concept of those. Those things can run a whole house if you want to. I mean, the technology into them is absolutely amazing. It's incredible. Back to the movie theater. So now we got, so picture, we're good, all right? So we got the same pictures in movie theaters. Let's talk about sound. Do we have the same sound at home? Yes. Yep. 5.1 surround, 7.1 surround.
If not better.
Yeah. Maybe Dolby Atmos is one of the sounds, and the advantage of having Dolby Atmos is there is sound coming from above. There's sound in the speakers in the ceiling. So that's what Dolby Atmos is. It's supposedly an immersion of sound. And let's look at 3D. You can do 3D television and 3D movies. They do have that.
3D sucks.
It does suck. And I'll tell you why. Several reasons. One of the reasons, my main reason why I don't like 3D is because 3D is designed for you to look at a certain subject or a certain area of the movie at a particular time, and it wants you to focus on that. I never watch a movie like that. I get immersed in it, and I become part of it, and I see this, and I see that, and I see everything. I'm one of those ones that goes through a movie, like you, and we'll go and we'll see, dude, this is a 1940s supposed to be picture, and that guy's wearing Nikes,
Right.
We'll look for continuity in a movie, and we see those things.
But it's also the same thing. What 3D does is it does exactly what basketball and hockey, good example. If you go live to watch it, it's awesome because you can take in what you want. But when you're watching on a TV, you're forced to follow the puck or the basketball up and down and up and down. And I can't do it.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I like the two sports, but unless I can see it live, I can only put it on for 5-10 minutes at the end because it's just I want to see what I want to see.
Right, exactly. And 3D focuses you on a specific part of the film, and I don't like that. I don't mind the overall. Some of these films are overall 3D where it's kind of like subtle. That's okay, I guess, but it doesn't. I don't know. It just doesn't do that much for me.
The one I liked though is when we went and saw Superman Returns.
Yeah,
and they had it where they would just flash the glasses on, and you had time to put the
You put the glasses on, you
and
saw
then it would-
certain segments in
right.
3D. Yeah.
And it would take and then tell you when to take them off.
Right.
That wasn't so bad because they had like what, maybe 4 or 5
Yeah.
tops.
Yeah.
And that was kind of a cool gimmick, but that's
Yeah.
the point. It's a gimmick.
It's a gimmick.
And
Yeah.
it didn't work in the 80s, and just because
Right.
it's better technology, it's still
Right.
the premise of
Right.
we want to show you something really cool. Well, if I want to see a magic show, I'll go to a magic show.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it sucks.
And people will say, I can't wear the glasses, they're this, they're that. And I agree the glasses can be somewhat cumbersome. But first of all, you have to have a good 3D. Some of these 3D theaters, they don't practice very good 3D. And like if you tilt your head to the left or you tilt it to the right, they lose their 3D. A really good 3D movie will give you the glasses, and they have good 3D where you can turn your head any which way, and it's just fine. One of the theaters I used to work at was funny because we would take the 3D glasses and we would turn them opposite. So instead of holding them normally over your face, you would completely reverse them and have them, with the handles. I don't know, what do you call the side of the glasses? Is there a name for that?
Arms?
Arms? I don't know what do you call the sides of a glass?
There's a question for next week.
There you go. So you would have those facing out, and instead of the 3D coming out at you, the 3D would go in to the movie. It was kind of cool. But yeah, it's crap 3D. But again, the whole thing is just a gimmick, because what happens is you need to get people in the seats, and they need to find another way to get more people in the seats and charge a fee for this so they can make more money. So now they're coming out with these theaters, and I will say I like them, but they're with these extra large recliners in them, and some of them are heated, and they got all kinds of little gimmicks with them. I like those. They're your private little viewing area, but again, you're going to pay a premium price for these. Now they also have in some of these theaters where you can have your own waiter or waitress, and they'll bring you in your own food. You don't even have to get up. You just order it, and boom, and they bring it to you. So they realize that what's happening is the home theater market is booming. And it's not really a home theater anymore. It's just what's in your living room. Because nowadays, like I said, you can go out and buy a 65-inch 4K TV, spend a couple of bucks on it, get a surround sound, and now you're in the privacy of your own home. You don't have to listen to, and some little twerp that's always kicking your seat. When I go to a movie theater, I like to sit in the back row. And I sit in the back row. Why? Not because it's the best seat in the house. Because, folks, 2/3 up in the middle, that's the best seat in the house. That's where everything is quality checked for sound and for video. 2/3 up, right in the middle, that is the best seat in the house. But I'll sit in the freaking back row because I don't want some little twerp behind me kicking my seat, somebody throwing candy, listening to people behind me. Again, nobody respects anything. So now they go to a movie theater. They're all on their cell phones. They all light up. They're all texting. They're all doing all this stuff during a movie theater. Who wants that? And you can go in and try to police it. It just doesn't work that well. At my theater, we tried very hard to police it. And they yell and scream and holler, and sometimes you have to eject people from the movie theater. But they don't understand that you're interfering with someone else's viewing of this movie. So now I know you and a lot of other people, they'll go if it's a big blockbuster film like Star Wars or the Avengers or something huge like that. They'll go and they'll see it in a big movie theater because it still is kind of cool. It's still immersive, and you get that big picture feel.
But I got to tell you, with the way the prices are dropping and the size of the TVs are getting, I really don't care.
Yeah,
I'm at the point now where I could care less. I mean,
Right.
if I as long as I can play it in the privacy of my house, and I can have the food I want in front of me, and I can not worry about some jerk behind me or in front of me.
And what? You can pause it.
I can pause it
and go to the bathroom,
and
do what you need to do.
And if I fall asleep, I can rewind it.
Yeah.
So I mean, the movie theater itself is just it's society. We're lazy.
Yeah.
We don't want to do anything. I mean, God, even the military, we're flying planes from the ground, sitting in lazy
drones.
Yeah, because we don't have to do it.
Yeah. Well, that's part of technology. It's advancing to that point.
Yeah, I mean, technology. Like everything says, or I've said this before. Technology, whatever it brings, is going to take something away.
It's going to take something. Yeah,
and this is why. And I don't mean to offend people, but why we have so many fat kids out there. Because they play video games.
Yeah.
And they sit at home and they're in front of the TV. They don't go out in the morning at 8 o'clock and have to have their parents hunt them down at dark.
No,
because
streetlights. When the streetlights come on, it's time to come home.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Oh, yeah. And go out and play wiffle ball.
Yeah.
Or what's wiffle ball?
Red Rover.
Anything like that. Go out and play. But now they got to beg you on TV to go out and play for 60 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow, this is where your cholesterol and your
it's all
diabetes and everything's happening.
They're all lethargic.
Nobody's doing anything.
Nobody's doing anything. Yeah.
We can't say everybody,
right?
But the majority.
Yeah, exactly.
I can feel safe about saying the majority just doesn't do anything.
Right. And because they don't have to. That's why. They don't have to. So, in a roundabout way, are the movie theaters going to be here next year? Yes, they'll be here. In fact, actually, last year was a good year. It was the first good year, and I think 4.5 years that the movie theater had. So if you have good movies that come out, like, the Star Wars Force Awakens, which I thought was a superbly done movie, box office will increase a little bit. But ultimately, my prediction is I'm gonna say 20 years. And then they're going to be like a cobbler shop. You're not going to find them. They're going to be one here or there on the corner, unless they can come up with some.
This is
duper.
2000. It's soon to be 2017.
Yeah.
You're saying 20 years.
20 years.
All right, so let's go back 20 years ago, and look where we are right now.
Oh,
if that's the case, and the way the speed of technology has been, I'm going to say in 20 years we're going to be entering the holodeck.
It's possible.
Because
that's possible. Listen,
that's a long time before. Technology is going to be outrageous.
Think about 20 years going to the movies 20 years ago. You had to go a half hour early if you wanted a good seat. You'd get to the movie theater a half hour ahead of time. Now you don't. Trust me, I see it every day. People will walk in at 5 minutes after the movie's supposed to start, and they'll go in and they'll get a seat. And back in our day, you didn't do that because the seats were full. They had tons of people. So they are declining. The prices go up to offset the decline of people. So the amount of money they make,
Look how long when Phantom Menace came out. Look how long we had to wait in the line.
Yeah.
How long that line was.
Yeah. I remember
and people were camping out on the streets.
I remember in Star Trek 4, no, I'm sorry, Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan, the line at Showcase was so long, you ran around the building twice. And my friend and I, Peter, at the time, we weren't very nice. We were younger, and we were driving around with the window rolled down, and we were yelling, "Spock dies! Spock dies!" Yeah, we weren't very nice. So
sailing the seas of bullshit.
Yeah. So But, I mean, so less people are going, let's face it. I mean, you can charge more money to offset it, but less people are going. They're not enjoying it as much as they used to. And that's sad because as a manager of a movie theater, one of the great, things of it was that I watched every movie by myself.
At 3 o'clock in the morning.
At 3 o'clock in the morning, when everything was all done, I'd watch a movie by myself. I didn't have anybody interrupt me. I had no problems. I ate whatever I wanted. I sat in the good seat. It was perfect. It was all immersive, and it was great. And you throw those people into the mix, and for the most part, it's awful because they're on their phones, they're crackling, they're making noise, they're talking, they're carrying it. They just don't care. Now, there are some exceptions, and especially like some of the big ones. Like in Force Awakens, trust me, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen this, shut it off, but in Force Awakens, when Harrison Ford dies, everyone in the whole theater was,
he's not dead.
He's not dead.
No.
I don't think he's dead either. But
they have to renegotiate the contract. Yeah. That's all. Nobody's dead in movies anymore.
Yeah,
or on TV.
True. Yeah.
You die, but you can come back.
Well, not only that, you can be CGI. You don't even have to be alive anymore. You could they did a lot of CGI in Rogue One. But anyways,
you saw Rogue One?
I did see Rogue One.
You were supposed to take me to see Rogue One.
Yes.
You are a jerk.
You
are a piece of shit.
A piece of shit?
Oh, man.
Yes. I can still take you to see Rogue One.
No, forget it.
I'll still take you to see Rogue One.
I don't need charity.
You don't need charity?
No.
Okay.
No.
Oh, shit.
All right. So my prediction is, like I said, 20. I'm going to say 20 years or so. You're going to find that there's going to be less and less movie theaters. That is my prediction. Say yay or nay to that, Mr. Rain.
It's going to be sooner than that.
Sooner than that?
Yeah.
All
but
right.
20 years, it's going to be like Terminator, and the computers are going to be running our lives.
Yeah, I might like that. I don't know. All right, we're going to come back right after a few messages from our sponsors.
Log of the Starship Enterprise, stardate 5943.7.
Captain Kirk, this is Lieutenant Uhura. Mr. Spock is ready to patch in. Go ahead, Mr. Spock.
I'm on the surface of the destroyed barbarian planet now, Captain.
Destroyed? What do you see, Mr. Spock?
The surviving inhabitants are in a dreadful condition. It seems they can't control their limbs, and their minds are dull and useless. Fascinating. They seem to be in a state identical to that curious 20th century Earth disease called hard drug abuse. I suspect it has destroyed all meaningful life on this wretched planet.
A tragic find, Mr. Spock.
As a Vulcan, I find the need for hard drugs to be totally illogical.
But as a half-human Spock, surely you can appreciate the suffering that hard drug abuse causes. We can only hope that other civilizations will not make the same mistake.
Dude, I had the craziest weekend. So it all started with girls' night at the club. I got into a fight with this guy, and he hit me over the head with a bottle. The next morning, I'm waking up on a pirate ship. These guys were insane. We went water skiing on sharks, dude. Sharks! They dropped me off on a beach in Florida where I got into a conversation with this old blind man.
Would you like to meet my puppy?
He had a 3-legged dog named Dorothy. The guy said he was a pilot and would fly me home for free. So I said sure. When we were back in the area, the man throws me a pack and tells me to jump. It was awesome. So, what'd you do this weekend?
Oh, nothing much. Donated blood at an American Red Cross blood drive.
What? Whoa, that's too crazy for me.
Donating blood isn't a big deal for you, but for a person in need, it's everything.
Welcome back to Fountain of Thought. You can find us at facebook.com/Fountain of Thought. Tweet us on Twitter at TalkFOT, or you can send us an email at talkfot@gmail.com. And if you are interested in becoming a sponsor of the Fountain of Thought program, please do so. That's talkfot@gmail.com.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Do you?
Oh, yeah, so I do.
Okay. So, now it's time for...
The moment you've been waiting for is finally here. Yes, true or false headlines.
All right, Sonny, true or false headlines. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. True or false? Santa hands out candy canes, then robs a bank. True or false? Santa hands out candy canes, then robs bank.
Was it Billy Bob Thornton?
I'm not going to say. You just have to...
That's false.
That's false.
That's probably from Bad Santa, too.
You are wrong. That is correct. The popular Christmas song, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, warns kids not to cry or pout, but it doesn't say anything about not robbing banks. Now police in Memphis, Tennessee, are trying to find a man who robbed a bank while wearing a Santa mask. The criminal, Chris Kringle, walked into the Memphis City Employees Credit Union on Elvis Presley Boulevard, sporting the trademark white beard, red coat, and red hat with fluffy white trim, according to WMC-TV. He handed out candy canes to the people in the bank and even wished them a Merry Christmas. Then the thieving Santa handed the bank teller a note demanding cash. The teller gave Santa an undisclosed amount of money and then left the bank. However, he did not leap into a sleigh or any kind of getaway car. Surveillance video shows him walking away leisurely down Rains Road. No one was hurt except for Christmas spirit. No arrests have been made in this case. Anyone with information is encouraged to call 901-528-CASH. The real Santa Claus was unavailable to comment on whether the robber made the naughty list or not. I'm thinking he made the naughty list. Do you agree?
Apparently.
Depends on how much cash he made. All right. Next one. True or false? Father uses Camaro to pull son's tooth.
You don't have a son.
No, I don't.
It had to be down in the South, I'm sure. No, that's false.
That's false? You are correct. That is false. I made that one up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pull his head right off.
Yeah. Okay.
I'd like to pull your head right off, too.
Poker player ordered to return $10 million in winnings. True or false?
True.
You are correct. That is true. A federal judge ordered Phil Ivey to repay $10 million to a casino in Atlantic City because they won the money while edge sorting. Do you know what edge sorting is?
I don't think I want to know.
Yeah, well, they're going to explain it in a minute, but I hadn't known that. While playing Baccarat, a famous card game of who?
James Bond.
Yes. At the Borgata, Ivy and Chen Ying Sun identified inconsistencies on the back of the decks of cards that helped them determine their value. They won $9.6 million over 4 visits, plus an additional $504,000 when they bet some of the Baccarat hall playing craps. While it had already been determined that Ivy and his colleague did not mark the cards in any way and did not commit fraud, the court ruled that they failed to abide by the Casino Controls Act. Ivy, 39, argued in a court filing that he never touched the cards. He called his attempt to gain an advantage akin to the house trying to distract him with free alcohol, served only by the most curvaceous and voluptuous females in the industry. Ivy's attorney, Louis Barboni, said Monday that he would look forward to their absolute right of appeal. Ivy, who's been called the best all-around poker player in the world, has won 10 World Series poker bracelets. So if the casino has the cards and you can tell because there's some marking on them or something, why is it his fault? That's their fault. I think it should be on the casino. I mean, they need to change out decks. I always see them changing out decks, but apparently not at the Borgata, I guess. I don't know.
That was easy.
For Ivy it was, yes. All right. Next one. Florida woman looks for her cat under bed, but finds burglar instead.
That's true.
That is false.
Oh, it was a raccoon I read. I'm sorry.
I made that one up. 210 million pounds of turkey found in the trash. True or false?
True.
That is kind of true, yes. It's a little misleading, the headline, as they all are. Between Thanksgiving and New Year's, Americans generate an additional 1 million tons of household waste, according to the Environmental Protection Agency. 1 million tons sure sounds like a lot, but it's not all surprising when you consider how consumable habits have evolved when it comes to the holidays. Increased online sales translate into a surplus of packaging waste. Wrapping gifts sends massive amounts of decorative paper to landfills, and cooking up heaping quantities of food for gathering means plenty of leftovers in the trash. Over Thanksgiving, for example, Americans waste 210 million pounds of turkey, according to the National Resource Defense Council, a non-profit conservative group. In addition, the amount of things Americans order online over the holidays is skyrocketing. Consumers spent $3.45 billion on Cyber Monday alone, up 12% over last year, according to Fortune magazine. And though we're pretty responsible about disposing of some kinds of packaging, almost 95% of corrugated boxes are recycled. Materials like bubble wrap and other things tend to get sent to the landfill. So there you go. Technology again taking place now. Cyber sales up 12% for Cyber Monday. You and I were talking off microphone earlier about Christmas gifts, and almost everything these days I buy online. Everyone I know buys things online.
I did all my shopping online except maybe a couple of quick trips to the local Walmart.
Yeah. I mean, it's still good to go to a department store or some store to physically look at something. Sometimes you just want to see what it is or how it's made.
Yeah, but then go home and order it.
Yeah, exactly. Then you go home and order it. Yeah, and nowadays they have apps where you scan the barcode and it tells you where the cheapest price is. Is it here at Walmart or is it online? Is it at Kohl's? Where is it? So technology ever increasing. All right, next one. You're going to get a chuckle out of this one. Do you think it's true or false? Santa Claus wins fight to keep ho-ho on his license plate.
True.
That is true. And the end part of this article is interesting. An Alabama Santa Claus is getting his wish for Christmas this year, but only after a little wrangling with the state's Department of Revenue. David Reed, who you cannot deny looks like a Santa, received the motor vehicle equivalent to a lump of coal this year when he found out that his ho-ho vanity license plate was deemed offensive, his H-O space H-O. He plays Santa professionally and has proudly displayed the holiday message on the back of his SUV for the past 6 years. I have a 1999 4Runner that across the back glass says my other ride is a sleigh with a wildlife license plate that says ho-ho. Reed told WFSA-TV. How offensive is that? People drive by me on the interstate so everyone can wave and they take picture of my plate. Who was offended by that? It's ridiculous, he said. Other banned license plates in Alabama have included O-U-T-H-S-E. Outhouse. B-R-D-P-O-O. Bird poo. And E-Y-E-H-8-U. I hate you. Alas, the holiday season is about hope, and surely you can't keep Santa on the naughty list. Reed petitioned to license plate power brokers, and with a little nudging from local media, he received his Christmas miracle, and his plates will be renewed. Santa or not, vanity license plates are frequently the battleground for First Amendment rights. In Oklahoma, the ACLU recently came to the defense of a man who wanted commie printed on his plates. And this is the one that's going to get a chuckle. And in Kentucky, a man was denied his request for a license plate that stated, I am space G-O-D. I'm God.
Apparently Massachusetts sees that differently.
Yes. So, I don't say I'm God. I just say I'm a God, not the God.
And for you listening out there, this is not bullshit. This is true. He drives around in a Camaro with plates on it that say "A God."
All right.
My neighbors refer to him as "A God."
A God.
Oh, we see "A God" was over your house today.
All right, next one. True or false? Man accused of smuggling $78,000 of cocaine in his underwear. Honey, is that cocaine in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?
Oh, my God. Probably. That's probably true.
That is true. You are correct. Authorities in New Jersey recovered 5 pounds of cocaine hidden in a pair of spandex underwear in a passenger's luggage last week at Newark Liberty International Airport, according to U.S. Customs and Border Patrol. Roland Thomas Tromp of the Netherlands was arrested when officials discovered extra packages in his shorts after he landed in Newark on a flight from Aruba. Those extra packages full of cocaine were hiding in a pair of stretchy spandex underwear in Tromp's backpack, according to the CBP. The drugs are worth about $78,000 street value. CBP officers turned Trump over to the Port Authority Police Department for state prosecution. So there you have it, folks. True or false headlines with Sonny Rain and Dennis Fountain.
That was stupid.
All right. So topics for next week. What do you think, Sonny? What are we going to talk about next week? Snow? We got a nor'easter coming.
God, shh.
Yes. Nor'easter
never
Thursday.
Say it loud.
Never say it loud. Okay, Sonny, we have a nor'easter coming.
It may miss us if you just shh. Quiet. Hide.
Okay. I like snow. I don't have a problem with it.
I just don't like cleaning it.
Yeah. What? Don't you pay somebody for that?
Yeah, I pay people to do anything. If I pay people to come over and brush my teeth, I would.
Excuse me. Weren't we talking about lazy people and
yeah,
not doing anything?
I'm just a fat, lazy guy.
Who raked your leaves? You paid somebody to rake your leaves. You couldn't rake your own damn leaves. You lazy SOB. So who shovels? You pay somebody to shovel, don't you?
I do.
See, there you go. So shut up.
Well, I have a medical reason for it.
You do? Yes. What is your medical reason for it? I'm dying to hear this.
I have a 7 centimeter hiatal hernia.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's very painful to have to rake or do snow.
So what you're saying is you have a doctor's note.
I have a doctor's note.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not accepting your doctor's note. All right, everyone. That's going to do it for this show. Thank you for listening. Reminder, Facebook.com/Fountain of Thought. Tweet us at Twitter, TalkFOT, and email us at talkfot@gmail.com. Sonny?
I would like to do my pet peeve of the week.
Sonny's pet peeve of the week.
My pet peeve of the week this week is friends who promise to take you to a movie and then secretly sneak out with other friends to see it and leave you home taking care of your elderly mother and sister with Down syndrome.
I was alone.
You have no proof of that. I have no visual confirmation. You are a sleazebag. I just want you to know that for the record. My co-host is a sleazebag.
Thanks for listening.
If anybody wants to go see Rogue One, call me.